I finally have an answer for you guys. So many people, whenever it has something to do with Colby Covington, will ask me Colby's business. And I never have it. I could get it, but I never do. I'm a Colby Mark too. I like to see the Colby show too. And it's a lot more fun to sit and speculate and watch it unfold than to just call him and get the answer. So whenever I never do ask him. But we finally have a little bit of clarity because Colby showed us a signed bout agreement to take on Tyron Woodley in August. Now, Tyron came back and said, I'm still a little banged up. I just went 5 rounds with Gilbert, and I'm getting real close to getting back in the gym. I need a little more time. Now, the reason I bring you that story is I read somewhere that people were saying that Tyron turned the fight down. That's not completely accurate statement. Tyron turned the date down. Tyron is saying yes to the fight. He's saying no to August, and he's not asking for a whole bunch of time. He's just saying, look, there's a show in September. How about we do it then? And don't forget, August is April, May, June, July. August is next month. I didn't even realize that. So he only wants a little bit more time, which would just bring us to the conclusion that we are likely to see that match. Colby said he signed it, and he did. Tyron said he'll do it. Just needs a couple of weeks. Okay. But that brings us a little bit of clarity to the division. Tyron Woodley is always a good option to go fight for a world title. Like it or not, or like the fact that he lost his last contest or not, he's always a good option. I don't suggest for you that he is the option, but when you're discussing the options, you can throw T-Wood in there. Now, Colby has appeared to have some kind of a card up his sleeve he's been waiting to play. Turns out that really wasn't so. He knew he was having some match coming up. He was preparing for some match. I thought it was just something a little bit more eminent. I thought Colby likely had a contract signed and they were waiting for the announcement. Turns out that isn't so. So he's in training. Looks like he's going to fight T-Wood, but that's relevant because now who do you have left? You got Leon. Can Leon get out of the country? I believe so. I believe that was the entire point of Fight Island, so that you can get guys. You've got Masvidal saying he would like to fight for the championship. You have Gilbert Burns, who was told he would fight for the championship. And then you have the champion in his opinion. And Usman went in a totally different direction earlier today and called out Georges St. Pierre. And he didn't only call him out. He laid out a case. He said, we are tied for consecutive wins within the division. George is a legend. I'm on my way there. And I'd like to get matched up with him. Now, of course, we'd all like to see George fight Usman. Of course. It's as good of a headline as any. It was very smart of Usman to go out there and strike while the iron's hot. I see so many fighters that don't understand the recipe of fighting. The recipe does not end the night that the fight ends. You then have another 48 hours. You have another 48 hours to still catch the news cycle, and then you are done. And it will move on to somebody else. And you are a sucker if you don't use those 48 hours. If you go, look, I've got to decompress and I am exhausted and I put everything into this and I just want to turn my phone off and go home to my family. Look, good for you. You got 2 days. Use those 2 days. The fact that Kamaru did was very smart. The fact that he's attaching himself to a name like GSP is very smart. And by the way, the fact that he laid out his case of why, I thought that really helped to strengthen it. Now, he's got one big thing against him, which is Georges St. Pierre is not licensed to fight. And Georges St. Pierre has made it very clear that he will only come back for one fight, and that has to be a championship fight at 155 pounds. Specifically, according to George, against Khabib. I think there's some room on that, but he does want it to be at 155. He wants to do the champ, be the first to ever do it right off into the sunset. Could you change George's mind? Yes. Yes. I don't know that you would be able to change George's mind based on legacy and legacy building. I don't know about that. That's the attempt that Usman took. He also did it from a very sportive and kind-hearted standpoint. He didn't try to poke the bear. He didn't try to tease or discredit him. He basically let him know this would really help me. It helped me to beat you. It would help you to beat me. I'm willing to take the risk. Are you? That's about as fair, above board, and as candid as you can issue a challenge.